Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. Party on down to the Sunday Chill Commentary by ONLYUSEmeBLADE. Let's kick it. Let's kick it. COD 4 style. And god damn it, Sunday Chill Commentary needs to be COD 4-ness. It needs to be the Call of Duty 4. Alright, so if you ever taken a trip, just to kind of go get there, completed a long journey, a long task, lots of tedious things, and you go, and now what? Where do we go now? The song by I think it's Guns N' Roses, "Where Do We Go Now?" Little tidbit that actually came from he was singing a song which is basically a poem about his daughter, and Axel and the other dude or whatever, they're just in the studio and they're just kind of strumming their basses and their guitars and they're going, where do we go now? Where do we go now? They just didn't know where to. It's weird because like we're so focused on taking these journeys that it's this weird thing because we take this journey and then when we get to the end of the journey, I'm like, now what? And then like, what do we do now? And then you kind of go, well, the fun was the journey. You know what I mean? Like that's what was entertaining about it, was that we needed to actually be there, and the trip was the adventure, not the goal. You know what I mean? It's kind of like people, you see these like old movies or whatever where people are going on these treasure hunts, but the actual treasure is the hunt itself. Does that make sense? But what about when you actually complete it? Now you kind of go, what now? The reason why I'm saying this is because the other night I was thinking about this, and there was a direct correlation between the game, the Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, and Call of Duty 4. I'm going to make a little comparison, but I'm also going to make, there's one glaring defect in it. So let me just explain my obsession with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I liked the first Grand Theft Auto 3. I liked Vice City a lot more because it was visually pleasing. And San Andreas was one of my favorite games of all time. Now, as I played it and as I beat it, I was like, okay, well, let's go for 100% completion. Because I still like this game and I want to have a reason to keep on playing it. But there's this thing where, like, once I've completed it, I don't necessarily want to play anymore. Like, I always want to be ranking up or building a character or whatever. At least that's how I used to play. And so with San Andreas, I beat the game, and then I kind of go, well, what do we do at this point? Because at the time there was no multiplayer. I know they have multiplayer on the PC version, but I was playing on the original Xbox, and so I got 100% completion. Now there wasn't exactly fun doing that, but it gave me something to do. It's just like, I want a reason to continue playing this game, but they're playing the game just to play it without, like, building something or having something to show for or whatever. I wasn't really into that, but I wanted to have a reason to do it. So I got the little book, the Bradley book, and it showed me how to get all the oysters and how to do all the side missions, do everything. And I remember I remember it was a spray tag. I got my final spray tag and I sprayed it on the wall, and it made the wow, and it said 100% completion. I think it was like double health, and cars all have nitrous and they take more damage or something. And I was just standing there and I was just like, all right, this is kind of eerie. Like, this is just weird because there's literally nothing else in the game you could do besides just, run amok and shoot some shit. And I remember just this really weird feeling. I'm like, that's it? Like, I felt accomplished or whatever, but at the same time I was like, that's it. Like, I beat it. I'm done. And it was like an empty feeling inside. And I remember like 3 days after it happened, I was doing something where I started a new game because I wanted to watch a certain cutscene, and then I saved over it And so I lost my 100% completion game on San Andreas, and I was furious. I was pissed, dude. Like I was so mad at. But then like I'd say like a month later, as I'm going through it again, and I found myself enjoying myself, I realized that I think subconsciously I needed to start over again because I was still addicted. I still love the game, and I don't love too many games, but that was one game I loved, and I needed a reason to play it again. So I I did 100% completion again. So I completed Grand Theft Auto San Andreas twice, 100% completion, and then I still got that same feeling like I love this game, but I need to be ranking up. I need to be doing something in order for me to do it. I feel like the amount of time that I spent on the game, it needed to be towards something, and not just to play randomly or just to shoot some stuff. And I learned later that my buddies, when they played San Andreas, they just beat the game and then got all the gear and then used cheat codes so that they can just replenish their armor and their weapons real quick and try to go on merc missions, and that's fun, don't get me wrong, but I think subconsciously I wanted to recomplete that game because I still liked it. And so I don't know if that's exactly the reason, but I think like deep down inside there was a subconscious thing that said, okay, let's restart this. Let's do it all over again. And then let's fast forward a little bit to Call of Duty 4. Now, when actually let's not fast forward. So I I basically was at this point where I realized that I was playing San Andreas way too much and it was unhealthy. Anything in abundance is unhealthy, right? So what I wanted to do is I was like, dude, I need to get back to being like a social person and not just some guy that just sits and plays shit ton of video games. And I'm talking about like that's a time consuming endeavor getting 100% completion in San Andreas. So I took my Xbox, took my copy of San Andreas, and I went to a GameStop and sold it to him. I think I got like maybe $70 total. And I was just like, I need to be done with this. I don't want this in my house. And so then I started, basically being social again. And I know it sounds really ridiculous to say that, but like I started being social again with my friends and stuff like that. And I, again, that voyage that started like my drinking voyage. That voyage, I quickly realized was like, whoa, back the fuck up. Like, even with that, I was like, where do we go? Like, you reach that point, and like, if you guys have ever seen the movie Scarface, the part where he's just like, is this what it's all about? I don't want this. I can't believe this shit. All we're doing is just getting fucked up all the time. And so you come to that kind of drinking epiphany. And my buddy's roommate got a PS3, and we started playing Call of Duty 4. And I fell in love with the video game again. Simple as that. I started my own personal account. I played on that, mostly headquarters, shooting account. Then I got to 10th Prestige, and I was just like, man, what do I do? Like I've completed everything, and I got that same feeling of we've completed the voyage, and you go, and now what? And I was just like, man, this is. So I started doing the whole thing where I wasn't just tryharding. I thought that shit was always cheesy. Like I always thought it was really weird that when people had like Red Tiger M16 and stuff like that. So I would like try different weapons and this and that, and then I started doing the knife thing, and I think I started doing the knife thing because I wanted to make a new account and I wanted to go through those 10 levels of prestige again because I had gone through 10 levels of prestige with Call of Duty 4 shooting on the PS3, and I still love the game and I wanted to do it again, but I felt like if I were to just keep on playing on the Gold Cross account, I feel like I'm not actually progressing, And that's the thing about these games that are different from like the old Nintendo games where you couldn't even save them. Like it's kind of like a role playing game. It's like constant progression, and I wanted to constantly be progressing. Um, but in all actuality, what I wanted to do is I wanted a reason to play copious amounts of Call of Duty 4. Now, so we know about the San Andreas and how it was. There were other ones in the series were cool, but that one was just amazing. And so when a game is amazing like that in a series, you tend to play the other games in that same series. So when Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, I got it, and I just felt that it took lots of steps backwards, and it wasn't the same as San Andreas, and the scenery was ugly. And this, I'm not trying to bash on the game, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. And so after playing it for a little bit, I played it enough so I can do the bank robbery missions, because I thought the bank robbery missions were the best parts of the Grand Theft Auto series. But then after that, I just lost interest, and then it kind of got gay, like literally gay. Like there's actually like a gay character in it, and I was just like, I'm good. I'm not a homophobe, but I just don't care to spend my time dealing with anything as far as like homosexuality. I think it's just not my thing. If you're a homosexual, then do you, but just not my thing. One thing I found interesting, is once I played Grand Theft Auto 4, and once I found myself I didn't enjoy it, I stopped playing it like a normal human being. So fast forward to Call of Duty 4, played the hell out of it. Literally did 100% completion twice, just the same way that I did 100% completion twice on Grand Theft Auto. But in all actuality, every game since then in the Call of Duty series, it hasn't captured my love the same way that Call of Duty 4 did. And like, they're good games, don't get me wrong. I think that the people that play it, I think, kind of ruin it a little bit. But at the same time, it just wasn't that great. Now, if I don't enjoy a game, if we look at Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and then we looked at Grand Theft Auto 4, I didn't enjoy the game, so I stopped playing it. But there's something about the Call of Duty series that I still want to play it. But I don't know. They made the game so complex that I stopped the whole prestige thing, and maybe that's why I've not liked. Maybe that's why I've not liked the later Call of Duties, because I just don't prestige. Which, so I don't know. I'm just in one of those weird places where it's just like, where do I go from this point? You know what I mean? Like, and I think some of that has to do with like the YouTube thing. Some of it has to do with, relationships, and just general life situations that we're so focused on making that journey through it that we don't actually enjoy the finish line kind of thing. So I don't know. It's just, I've just been in a weird place lately, guys. I don't know. It has nothing to do with the current Call of Duty game or the YouTube or stuff like that, because I try to stay a little bit disconnected from the YouTube. It's just, I've kind of made that journey, and now I've come to a point where I'm like, and now what? Like, financially, I'm good. I have healthy relationships with my family, and healthy relationships with the ladies, good friends. I like what I do, but now I'm in a place just like, what do we do now? So, I don't know. I don't know what your journey is, person listening, but I hope that the journey is fun, because it seems like every time I end my journey, I'm in a point where I'm like, well, what do I do now? ONLYUSEmeBLADE. It's been a Sunday Chill Commentary. Peace. Love you.